Today we are still discussing becoming an independent travel agent. However, we are going to discuss how to do that without a host agency. So, why or what would be the reason you would want to do it without a host agency? Well, because you're splitting your commission with the host agency. So, in order to avoid that split commission, the startup fee that they may charge, the annual fee that they may charge, you may want to go at it on your own. So, I am going to just give you the information that you need to do that, which you will have to further research, and then you can decide whether or not a host agency is for you or whether or not you would like to do it on your own. So, I would like to say that this video is for seasoned individuals. So, individuals who are already travel agents and have years of experience in the industry, simply because there is a lot of information to know and gather when it comes to the different quoting systems and everything you need to be successful. And you may think, I've planned lots of trips for my family, I know what this is about, but the systems that you use as an agent are different than the ones that you use when you're just planning your own family vacation. So you are absolutely welcome to watch and gather information, but I think it's really overwhelming. If you don't have any experience whatsoever, my suggestion would be to start with the host agency. You've heard me talk before about Fora. That is the host agency that I started with. The training is wonderful. It gives you an overview of absolutely everything you would possibly need to know to be successful as an independent travel agent, and you can pay monthly. So if you could take their courses and master them over the course of 3 or 6 months, then you may want to consider doing it on your own. If you do that, my very first suggestion to you would be to create an email address with your own domain like Gmail, rather than using the domain that comes with the host agency. Because if you start with the host agency and then you break out on your own, or even if you switch host agencies, you don't want to have to tell people, well, this was my email address and now it's this. So start off with a personal email address. That is the biggest piece of advice that I can give you. In that way, all of that correspondence that you have comes with you. So, the very first thing that we are going to talk about is the business structure. So, step one is to establish that. And that business structure is going to provide you with protection in the event that anything happens. So that means you wouldn't be liable, or your assets wouldn't be something that someone would come after in the event that there was litigation. So that business structure would include either an LLC or sole proprietorship. So an LLC can be for one or more individuals, and a sole proprietorship is just for one person. So needless to say, the sole proprietorship is going to be less expensive. Now, why might you want an LLC? If you're looking to do a travel agent and have a bunch of people working in an agent under you at some point, you may want to consider the LLC, which is a little bit more money. So that is the difference between the two, but they provide protection for you so no one can come after your assets. Kind of like carrying auto insurance, getting into an accident, then you hit someone and then they come back and sue for their injuries, and then they may go after your house or your car, whatever assets you have. The second thing is to get whatever required licenses or certifications that you need. So a business license may be a requirement in your state. That is something that you want to Google. I am in the state of Georgia, and there is no mandate for a business license in the state of Georgia. There's also something called a seller of travel insurance license. Google that to see whether your state requires that. I know that California, Florida, Washington, and Hawaii do require them. So look those up, see what the costs are, whether or not it's required before you get started. Now, these are the industry accreditations. So just like when you go to a college that's accredited, same thing for a travel agency. There are certain accreditations that you need. One of the most popular ones is IATA, so IATA, and that's the International Air Transportation Association, and that is for selling worldwide air travel. Sometimes you will see that IATA with an N at the end of it, and that is just for US travel. So if you want to sell insurance that includes air travel, the IATA is something you may want to consider. The second one that we've talked about before is the CLIA, Cruise Lines International Association. That association handles about 95% of the cruise business. So that is the second credential or accreditation that you should consider. The third is ARC, Airlines Reporting Corporation, and that is going to also provide air travel, but it allows for transactions. So transactions between yourself, the independent travel agent, and the airline. So the financial portion of it. That is also specific to the United States, Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, and American Samoa. And then the final one is CCRA, which is now known as True Travel Retailers Universal Enumeration. It kind of does the same thing as all of them. So look them all up, see which one works best for you and the type of business you want to quote. The next one is a booking system. So the quoting platforms that you're using when you're doing quotes. So if you're going it on your own, you'll have your own booking system. So CRM and GDS are two. So Sabre or Amadeus are third-party booking systems, as well as TravelJoy and Travelify. So they may be something that you want to consider. Also, when you look into your accreditations, there may be certain websites that you can use with those, or certain vendors that you can use with those, so you may not need to look at a booking system. But a booking system obviously is something that you will need to be provided. But my suggestion again would be to look into the accreditations and see whatever booking systems come with those. Fam trips, I bring them up all the time because they're important to me. So when I was doing this research, I was seeing, if you were to become an independent travel agent, how do you get the fam trips? Because the host agencies usually sponsor those. So you can do those by being a part of the IATA or CLIA association, signing up with those. There's a travel agent only portal that you can sign up to called Travel Weekly. There's another one called Travel Pulse and Travel Agent Central. So you can sign up with those to be eligible for fam trips. And then of course your portfolio. So if you're someone who quotes a lot of business, you may automatically be eligible for those fam trips just based on the volume and the repeat business that you're bringing back. And then the agent rates that I always like to talk about, same principle. So IATA, CLIA numbers could give you access to agent rates. Also flight commissions. And I do have to add that when it comes to commission on flights, you typically only make money on business or first class flights. So some people will say, well, go ahead and lump it in there. I know I do quotes for flights, but the best way to get commission on them is if they're first class or business class. And of course, that is definitely something you want to consider for international travel, where people are on planes for hours and hours and hours. I digress for a little bit, but that is one way to get access to agent rates. And then the Travel Agent University site, Travel Leaders, or Expedia TAP, which is also a quoting system that is used by travel agents. So that's how you can get those perks that I was telling you about, the fam trips and the agent rates. So what is next for you? Researching everything that I just told you about, looking it up, seeing what works best for you. Is it more convenient for you to get all of the things that a host agency offers, which is everything that I just went down the list of. So they're going to provide you with the quoting platforms, the commission structure where they take the split, the training, all of the media and marketing materials, the webinars and all of that good stuff. So, and leads in some cases. So if you are someone who is very new to this industry, you don't know a lot of people who are booking travel, it may be beneficial for you to start off with a host agency for that reason. I am a part of several travel groups and I do see people say, well, I never get any leads. So one way to do that is to associate yourself with a host agency. So there you have it. That is what it takes. And I know I made it sound very simple, but there is money involved. I didn't want to give you prices, but if you look on those websites and you do your research, you will see that there's money involved for each of those certifications, as well as the business licenses or whatever you need in terms of that, and the booking system. So is that something you want to do? You can decide for yourself. I know from doing this research, I made a clear decision on what I want to do for now. So hopefully that was able to help you. And as always, some people visit me in the comments. I love that. If you have any questions, I'm happy to share with you whatever I do know. And I may have something upcoming where we'll have some more information on that accreditation. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon.